us on a journey through darkness will bring light. Rural Report is here, guiding us through the night.
Hello again and welcome back everybody to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC and it has been a little while since we have done this and it seems to be a pretty requested thing and hey, I'm here for you guys, right? So we're going to do another ugly truth about SHTF and if this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for stopping by and giving us a little bit of your time. For the rest of you, you know what these types of shows, if you will, we kind of just go around and then touch base on a few things, and then we try and wrap it up into a pretty little bow at the very end. What do I want to talk about today? Well, I want to talk about opposites. Okay. Uh, there is so much right now when we have a look onto the way everything's kind of working right now. Opposites seem to be going. There's so much fighting and everything. And whether you not want to go down the rabbit hole, you have a division. And whether that's engineered, that's up to you. Okay. This is not a channel that is going to tell you what to think. I'm going to lay a few things out. You come up with your own decisions. Agree with me? Don't, disagree with me. That's up to you. But if you really kind of look at the kind of elementary root of everything, look at the colors. Okay, what's red and blue? If I say red and blue, well, name a couple of things. Well, I mean, you got Republican and Democrat. Um, if you want to really get into it, isn't it kind of weird that they're supposed to be, opposites? One red, one blue. What other red and blue opposites are there? Oh, that's right, the gangs, the Bloods and the Crips. Well, that's really weird that they would have red and blue, right? Why is red and blue so opposite? Why is everybody picking red and blue? And it kind of makes you wonder when it comes down to everything, is it engineered in the background? Is things already chosen for a reason? And you can go down that if you really want to. But when you start really looking at a lot of this stuff, you have to have it to where you don't want to be a part of that division. Okay, you don't have to pick a side. When it comes down to things, it's okay. You don't have to be one of the people that get triggered on everything. You don't have to be ultra sensitive about everything. I don't understand the uh, old saying of sticks and stones. Where did that go? It's words. If you want to make fun of one of my relatives, who cares? It doesn't do anything. I'm going to live just fine. I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. I'm just going to prep on, go to work, get up, eat breakfast, have a cup of coffee, do the normal things I do. It doesn't matter. It's words. Now, words are important, but you got to take emotion out of it. Emotions are one of the things that if you let it get triggered, if you let emotions take over, that leads to very dangerous situations, and you have to be very, very careful. I've put this out there time and time again that if you want to look at a situation, you want to read a story, read an article, watch a segment, take names out of it. Take the country name out, take the person's name out, and just put in there place A, person, A, whatever. Put it in there and watch how much it will probably change your perspective of different things. Have somebody read you the article and then maybe read it back to you with all the names and see if it changes anything. There's a lot of people out there I don't think that they understand that they do have that in the back of their head that they already are have that perception. Okay, I read Bob's name and automatically I get defensive. Bob means a lot to me, or Sally means a lot to me, or I really hate George or whatever. You have that kind of pre-done in your head. And so I challenge you, take things out of it and really step back and just look at the broad picture of things before you react and before you make decisions. There's a lot of things when it comes down to separation. And right now, separation is not what we need in a certain sense. You do need to have separation. You need to separate your things that are not valuable to you, things that do not bring you substance, things that do not bring you something of value. Separate yourself from that. If you have toxic people in your life, it's okay to cut them out. If you have a bad habit, if you have something that you don't like, maybe it's cigarettes, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's gambling, maybe there's a certain somebody in your life that's a bad influence or whatever, cut them out. Okay. Trust me, the world will spin on without them. Okay. It may be hard at first, it may be difficult at first, but in the long run, you're going to be a lot happier. There's a lot of things out there that people deal with, and it's up to you. You're the first person that it's going to come to, that you're going to have to see that there's a problem and fix the problem. Nobody's going to do it for you. Okay, that's one of the things when we talk about preparedness. We prepare because nobody's coming to help us. Okay, yeah, you might have some friends and other things, but you prepare that you're on your own. Okay, right now, if we get hurt, we dial a number, and people are supposed to come racing towards us with lights and sirens to alleviate the situation, take it over, and fix whatever the problem is, whether that's somebody kicking in our front door, whether that's our house burning down, whether somebody fell and is incapacitated in whatever level. We have the somebody will do it for us. We don't have to take care of things ourselves. And it's one of them things too. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. Look at all the different ERs and urgent cares and everything else. People go in there for the sniffles. Okay, well, what happened to society to where you can't take care of the sniffles at home? It's one of those weird things that I don't understand what's going on. I like to take a step back and look at a society as a whole and see the different changes and everything. You need to make sure, though, when we talk about separation, if you have it to where you are trying to form a group, you have to see people are not going to align 100%, and that's fine. And it's actually a good thing. You don't need to be 100% with everybody in your group, because that becomes just as equally dangerous, in my opinion, because then you get into that hive mind. If you don't have that person that's there to kind of second guess and go, wait a second, let's think this through, you can end up just making horrible mistake after horrible mistake. So it's good to have somebody that can challenge you, at least in that sense that you can take a step back and go, okay, I see what you're saying. I see your point of view. Here's my reasons to back it up. Or maybe you're just making a decision out of, thin air, and you're just letting emotions do it. And maybe that's your check. Maybe they're there to check yourself to go, wow, okay, yeah, I see your point. Um, and there's so much that when it comes to separation, all of us seem to want freedom, okay? And we can get into what level of freedoms people actually want. But all of us, I think, want freedom. And I think that they're trying to separate freedom down the middle to free doom, because that's what you're going to get when you give up your freedom is you get doom, and it's going to be free. Trust me. All you got to do is do absolutely nothing and doom will come to you. And the way that you can earn your freedom is self-sufficiency. And when it comes to self-sufficiency, I hear a lot of people make a lot of excuses, and my answer to that is yes, I understand it takes time. Yes, I understand it takes finances. Yes, I understand it takes commitment, but you can sacrifice a little bit today and have a lot to show for it in the future, or you can do the exact opposite and enjoy everything now, and then the future you run a risk of suffering a whole lot. So, I mean, again, that's up to you, however you want to do it. We all go through bad times. There's ups and downs in life, and there's levels. Each of us experience ups, downs, peaks, valleys. And when it gets into it, you start getting into, some people experience more pain, more suffering than others. Some people, they kind of luck out on life, and it might be really really bad to them, but in an overall sense it's not actually that terrible. And I get it, it's subjective, but we have to make sure that we have ups and downs, because it gives us a level of appreciation. It allows us to step back and be humble with ourselves. Because if all we do is live in luxury and live in a high life, then we don't actually appreciate anything. It's one of those that when something happens unexpectedly and you have a savings account, suddenly you have an appreciation that you took time and set up that little bit of a blanket coverage, some sort of a safety net, if you will. And I think that a lot of people that we have that just in time mentality, right? We live in that throwaway society. If it's broke or even if it's not, we're just bored with it or there's something new. You throw it away, you click a button, and sometimes in less than a day, you've got the latest, greatest brand new thing out there that, will suddenly solve all of your problems, right? So make sure though that when you're looking through all this stuff, when we talk about things like separation, when we're looking at everything into the more bigger picture of the way that all this works, separation is good and separation is bad. Most things in life, there's good and bad in all of it, right? I mean, you take the word consequence. You can have a good consequence or you can have a bad consequence, but either way, whatever your action is or isn't comes with a consequence, and your decision. For the most part, will dictate what that comes out to be. Most of us try and do an educated, sort of working through that problem to where we at least base it off of experience. Or at least we base it off of some sort of knowledge that we're not just taking a wild stab in the dark. And so, there's people out there that don't. There's people out there that uh, they live the life by the seat of their pants. They just, whatever it is, they're just going to go and whatever comes their way, they'll just deal with it when time comes. And who's to say whether they're right or wrong? Personally, for me, I want to prepare. I want to do things and set things up beforehand. It's kind of like setting up for a birthday party or any sort of a party. You get there, you put the stuff out, the decorations, you put everything out so that way when the people arrive, everything's ready to go. Put that into prepping. You want to have your food, your water, your medical, things like that. You want to have it prepared so that way when whatever that event comes, it's ready to go. It's right there. Make sure that you have that stuff. And not only do you have it, do you know how to use it? Do you know exactly where it is right this second? As you listen to me, where's your food? Where's your water? Where is your fire starting equipment? Where's your bug out bag? Where is any of the things? Or do you have to stop and go, I think it's in the top shelf of the closet? Okay. If it's I think, we have a problem. Okay. Red flag, go fix that problem. Now we can go on and on and on about all this. I want to keep this a little bit short, a little bit time constraint today, so you have to forgive me. I just had this on me that I really wanted to get this video out. So when it comes to separation, okay, you can make the choice. You got to figure out what's right, what's wrong. You got to live by some sort of code, some sort of moral. You have to have a moral compass to go through life. Yes, you might be put into a really horrible situation to where you have to maybe go against morals. Maybe in some sort of a self-preservation thing. Most of us don't want any harm to come to somebody else, but you'll make an exception is if somebody comes to do harm to you, right? So you have to make sure that you understand, make sure that you have your training, make sure that you know your limitations. Don't just think that when bad times come that you're going to go hunt and fish and trap when you've never done any of that. Don't think that you know exactly what berries to go do if you've never done it. You can get into a really, really bad, if not fatal situation by going, I've read a book or I've saw it on some nature documentary on TV. Doesn't work like that. Okay. Yeah, you might get lucky a couple of times, and we've talked a lot about luck, and luck will run its course for a little while, and maybe even for a long while, but eventually luck runs out. It's the same that we've talked about when it comes to the werewolf preppers and things like that. Is when they think that they're going to take some sort of weapon or something along those lines, and they're just going to run around and take whatever they want. You know, whatever, that's their plan. I'm going to tell you it's a really horrible plan, but you know, if that's your plan, eventually you're going to run into the wrong house. You have to be right. If that's your plan, you have to be right 100% of the time. Your people that you're going after, they have a 50-50 shot. You have to be right 100% of the time, because even if you survive, if you get injured in any sort of thing, remember, you're alone. You don't have any help. There's nobody that's going to help you. You get hit in the leg, or you know, any sort of anything along those lines. Uh, there's nobody there to, you know, help get food, help get water, help you know, defend and do any of that stuff. So we can go down that road again, but uh, that's probably for a whole nother video, which we've done multiple videos on why it's a really horrible idea to be a lone wolf and all this. It's better to have a tribe. And there's a lot of people out there that when you talk about groups, they want separation. um, Nobody talks about our group. Our group is really, really secretive. We're real. If anybody steps on our land, we're gonna separate ourselves so that way nobody's allowed in. And then I think that's a problem too. You know, that it's one of those that you got to put yourself into that other scenario. What happens if you get separated from your group and you get turned around or whatever, and you're trying to work your way back, and you come across a group that has that sort of same mentality, the shoot first and ask questions later. I would rather have somebody, you know, cautiously come out. I'd be fine to, hey, I mean you no harm, okay? I'm just passing through. I don't want anything. You know, maybe you can help me, give me a little bit of directions or something. But I would really like if there was other people that had my mentality. Hey, I want to be cautious. I don't know who you are, but you know, we're not out here trying to just mass end civilization and exterminate humanity. That's not the goal in any sort of SHTF. There's already going to be chaos. There's already going to be madness and anarchy running present, and it's one of the things that while you're still breathing, you get to put into that situation on how things are going to go. Are you going to take and hold that piece of land, that property that you are on, whether it's you yourself or you know, your family, or maybe you have a decent sized group? Are you going to be part of the anarchy to where you're just going to help end civilization and civilized society, or are you going to have humanity and have decency, help those that need help? You know, with the recent hurricane that went through, imagine being some of those people where you talk about the different, you know, morality questions when it comes to preparedness. You know, my preps are my preps. Nobody gets my preps at all. They're mine. Well, what happens if you lucked out? You had some trees down, you lost power, you know, some other minor things, but for the most part, you came out unscathed. But just 10 miles down the road, it's decimated. Okay, they have nothing. Are you really not going to go over there and try and give some water, give a little bit of help? You have, you know, your preps, you have different stuff. You're not going to take a little bit and help your fellow person? Because if your answer is no, then put yourself in that shoes that you were the one affected, and just a few miles down the road they weren't, and they're not coming to help you. Okay, it's that mentality of not helping. We're already down a very divisive future, and we have to decide what we're going to do about it. Whether we are going to be the ones that stand up and go, no, that's another human being, that's a fellow American, that is my brother or sister, I'm going to go help them in their time of need. Or do you go, I worked really hard for my stuff, and so I'm going to keep my stuff. I'm going to hashtag prayers and thoughts, and you know, that'll be enough. You know, there's too many people out there that you know, a simple little praying hands emoji sent off, and they can go to sleep at night, and it drives me nuts. It's okay to do that, thoughts and prayers. I get it, as long as it's legitimate and serious, because maybe that's all you can do. Maybe you live paycheck to paycheck. For a lot of people out there, they can do a lot more. They can actually get actively involved, and they choose not to, and that's a very bad stain when it comes to humanity and the way society is as a whole today. So But that's what I've got. I'm going to continue ranting if I don't stop here. So thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time and attention. If I did, a good job, there's a little thumb icon down there. Tap that if you would. If you're new here and you like this and you want to hear more of it, subscribe. For the rest of you, we're going to have some more stuff coming out soon. And plus, I'll see you for Workshop Wednesday. And with that, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you have a blessed day. Stay tuned because there's more information to come. And with that, I'm going to remind you, remain united because we're all prepping in this together.